I'm for adjournment. You have a second on the adjournment? Hey,
Yes.
we have adjournment, second. All in favor?
All right, good evening, Springfield. Welcome to the Township of Springfield meeting of the Planning Board for December 5th, 2022. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with the Sunshine Law. Notice was published on November 3rd, 2022 in the local source, which is the official newspaper, Andrew, of the Township of Springfield for the year 2022, and posted on the Annex Building November 3rd, 2022. Can we do a salute to the flag, please?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we do a quick roll call? Yes, not today.
Mayor Alexander Kaiser,
I am present.
Committeeman Rich Huber.
Not here.
I'll take that as you're here. Mr. David Barnett is absent. Mr. Andrew Schwartz.
Present.
Mr. Aaron Laufer.
Here.
Mr. Brian Brendel. Here. Ms. Marissa Ruggiero is absent. Mr. Scott Wishna. Here. Vice Chair Sharon Kessel is absent, and Chairman Jeffrey Tiger.
I'm here, thank
You
you.
have a quorum.
Well, welcome, everyone. Good to be back in person. At least our first meeting back in person will be a relatively short meeting. We have a few things on the agenda. The first thing is we had a resolution last week. We had an application last week for the church. They wanted an electric sign. The board acted favorably and approved that application. There's a resolution that our council prepared, and we reviewed. If anyone had a chance to review it, any questions or concerns? Seeing none, can we have a quick roll call?
You need a motion.
We have a motion for approval.
I will move for the approval of application 10- of the resolution approving application 10-2022-S for a preliminary and final site plan, bulk variance for an electronic sign.
Second. Oh, I got beat.
Sorry. Mr. Schwartz.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Wishna. Yes. Mr. Laufer. Yes. And Chair Tiger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Perfect. The next thing we have is an application for Upfront Media 8-2022S. This is for 11 Edison Place, block 210, lots 1 and 9, for the variance final site plan for conditional use for a multi-message sign billboard. This application for any members of the public is being carried to January 30th at 6:30 in this very room with no further notice. The applicant doesn't have to renotice. It's January 30th at 6:30 p.m. in this chambers. We have an extension of time request from Counselor. If you want to come up, this is extension of time for condition 3, which is for 539 Mizell Avenue, application 1-2022S, 539 Mizell Avenue, Shadow Lawn and 8 Shadow Lawn. This was for from the boards. This was lot lines redrawing. Everything was conforming. The council drafted a letter to the board asking for an extension. I've spoken with council on it, and our board engineer, Mike, you have no concerns with it whatsoever. I think what the discussion would be to give a 120-day extension of time so that they have the ability to file the deeds. The only condition I would re-add, if it wasn't there before, is that our planning board attorney would review the deeds in advance of being filed and get approved, as well as our board engineer.
I have no problem with that. And again, the whole reason for this is because one of the properties was sold unbeknownst to me and the other applicants who had applied for the minor subdivision. So there is now a process whereby it's being bought back so that we can now do the proper subdivision. And that's the part that's out of my control, is the timing of it. I have been in constant contact with the title company and with the attorney that was involved that did all this and shouldn't have done what they did. And so we are rectifying the situation.
Okay, I think there's no plans to change any zoning in that area, so 120 days I don't think is a problem, but I'll open up to the board. Anything further?
No, that's the sum and substance of it.
Mr. Wishner? No questions. Aaron? Good. Mayor?
None.
We had discussed, I thought, 180 days.
180 days, 6 months, 180 days. Okay, my math is
That's fine.
Let's do it once and be done.
done.
It's appreciated. Again, I had asked for less, and I appreciate
That's
the
fine.
courtesy of more.
The zoning's not changing in the area, so it gives you plenty of time to do it.
And I appreciate that again because this part is still out of my control.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Brendel?
Oh.
No? Okay, that's fine. So can I just have a motion to approve the extension of 6-month extension?
So moved.
And adding in that our planning board attorney and board engineer must approve the legal descriptions of the deed.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Well, roll call. Let's do a roll call just in case.
Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz.
Yes.
Chairman Huber.
Yes.
Mr. Lawfer. Mr. Brendel. Mr. Wishna. And Chair Tiger.
Yes.
Passes.
So our planning board attorney will communicate with you on the record for this. Perfect. Okay, so that's it. The only other thing that we have is, Ms. Miller, if you want to come up. Once a year, we hear from the Environmental Commission. We used to do it once a year, then COVID and whatever. Perfect time to bring you guys back to kind of talk through some of the things that you guys are working on. The one thing that I would like to share, that I know that one of the applications, we had a lot of some tree removals that went on. I know the Township Committee made sure there was an ordinance in place to have $100 plus or minus per tree. As a board, we've been enforcing it very strictly. Marissa Ruggiero, who's not here right now, is our representative to you. I know has been working with Mr. Disco anytime a landscaping plan to make sure that she's involved in the approval, even though Mr. Disco is perfectly capable of doing it, but so that way that she's having a set of eyes review it from what you guys look for. I think that the biggest one that we had was Florida Core was taking down 140 trees. Now, when we say 140 trees, a lot of them are, I don't want to say dead, worthless trees. Every tree is important, but as Mr. Disco can comment on, we were very generous when we counted trees out there. Some of them are twigs, some of them don't count. Florida Core didn't kind of fight it, so there's a plus or minus about $9,500 of escrow. We've given them the latitude before to add trees to the site if they can, but not overcrowding it, but there will be some money that's put in the escrow, and you guys should work with the Township Committee on how that gets planted. That's not the planning board's purview. But I think that was one of our big things that we did this year. We've been, and any of the board can add, we've been making sure impervious coverage, coming down with ways to kind of take the drainage and make sure it's not ponding in areas or running off on neighbors. We had that with Florida Core, which was one of the bigger ones that was out there. Mr. Disco?
Summed it up.
Okay, good. Some of the things you've observed, and then we'll let them, anything you want to add? No?
We have a fund right now that we are
Yeah.
collecting, and we do have a fund already for trees. I don't know how much is in there, but every tree that comes down, we have been collecting. So we haven't forgot about you. I know you yell.
Yeah, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys that you heard us and you listened and you're, trying to reduce the amount of trees coming down. I'd still like to work on the impervious surface that's added to each site. And we'd like to recommend that, you guys use either gravel or interlocking pavers as an alternative. There is, of course, pervious concrete that can be purchased, as well as asphalt.
We did that on one site. Where did we have that?
We've done it on several sites. We incentivize it by not counting it as a lot coverage element.
Where did we? There was a couple sites over the last couple of years that we did. I just don't remember where.
Yeah, I mean, they did it at the Chipotle, for instance, up there. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, just, reinforcing as a town that has a water table that's so high that does flood, it's just super important, more important than other towns just because of the flooding issue. Again, just keep an eye out for anything that impacts water, sewer, storm drainage for all future projects. We'd like to try to keep any green spaces that we have remaining as green spaces. It's part of the charm of our town.
The school is, the planning board worked with the school, with the developer. Caldwell, actually, tomorrow night's unveiling a design for a playground. They're putting nice playground trees to kind of make the area look nicer, so that's happening in the March-April timeframe from what we understand. Mr. Disco, you approved the plan, or you signed off on?
There was 2 mock-ups. They're both fine, both acceptable.
Another thing is, I had a question for you guys. We heard there's going to be some big plans over at Baltusrol to redo the upper court. Does that go through the planning board, or is that a separate?
Well, that will go through him first. Technically, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, when they did the lower course, for instance, it was a maintenance issue. They basically installed sprinkler systems. They installed the geothermal under the greens. It was all non-impervious surface, no structures per se. We met internally as a council with all the departments on that, and we were able to do that without coming to the board. I mean, there's a practical matter in that they border literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
Notice
property
would be
owners.
immense. I actually
Yeah.
border it.
I received several calls about trees being taken down on the upper course this week, to which I alerted the DPW, and I'm like,
So
guys.
something that we can send Jerry or someone.
We
Yeah, I spoke to
wait.
Robert Betcher,
Yeah.
because he did indicate the concern, and he did reach out to Baltusrol, and I think they're scheduled to meet on
There's-
Friday. I could be wrong.
They're scheduled to meet next week. I believe I communicated with Marissa within the hour of when I was asked.
Okay.
to put on record.
Yeah, just, I don't know if that comes through your board. I just, can we be kept in the loop on that a little bit so that when residents call us,
If
we
it
can,
goes, if there's any structures or improvements that they'll have to come to us. If it's all underground and just, moving around in dirt, they'll make sure that,
Mr. Disco.
there's sediment there to put the silk fences and some of the things up. Because you're right, if they do something, it is a tremendous notice that you're talking 500 people. I'd rather, and I've always said this too, which we've always talked about, trying to figure out some sort of reasonable subdivision for them to come through without affecting the course where, when they were doing something at the front of the entrance, I am like a mile away, I'm getting noticed for it, as opposed to Mr. Brendel that's like, feet away, and because he's outside that notice, he's not getting noticed. So they have to
Right.
kind of figure out a better way of doing it, because spending $5,000 to notice people for every little thing is silly.
right, sure.
Isn't tree removal, I know with residential, you need a permit for
Yes, you do.
X number of trees. So
Oh, yeah.
do they have to apply for a permit?
They're supposed to.
Again, I wasn't involved, but what I heard was they had some limbs and perhaps ash trees that they were doing. That's why they set up a meeting, though.
They did, yeah. The as far as I know, the leadership of Baltimore's Baltusrol is meeting this week to go over processes and procedures going forward and going through their plan. So
Just saying as, eyes and ears of the community.
yeah,
My house backs up to the 8th hole of the upper course, which is going to,
so I didn't hit your home on Mayor's Day.
you can't, it's about 100 yards of trees.
Oh, don't tempt me.
They could.
You could aim for the hot tub, but don't. One of the
sure there were.
things that I've seen going on this week was, 5 or 6 sacred tree trucks out there, probably between the 8th hole and what's behind it, which is probably the 5th or 6th on the other side coming down. So I called Baltusrol and I said, I border your property, tell me what's going on behind my house. Well, at the conclusion of the U.S. Women's Open, which will be in June, at the end of June, there's going to be a major redesign of the upper course, similar to what they did on the lower course. One of the things they will do is what they called thinning of trees. Now, what's going on in current golf course architecture is taking out a lot of trees on golf courses to air them out, is what the expression is. I don't know if any of you guys have been across Pleasant Valley Lane and seen what they did to Montclair Golf Club. There are a lot of courses that are taking down, like Alvin Hill, they took down hundreds
Oh,
of
yeah.
trees.
That was wild.
They did.
Our concern is not so much with the taking down of dead and diseased trees or the airing out of the course, but what about the replacement of trees?
Well, Kevin Vitale knows better than that to do that, and that's something that the mayor and township committee are meeting with, and they have always been fair. I mean, that I'm sure that if the township comes and says that there's X amount of trees,
Yeah.
they will put money in the tree replacement ordinance or plant on their property. I cannot imagine of them doing anything like that. So I think it's good. Thanks for bringing it to their attention. It sounded like the mayor already knew
No,
about it, which is great.
and appreciate the color that you provided. I will. I'll follow up before their meeting this week to just. I won't be in there, but I will relay your concerns and exactly what the request of the commission is, so that can be followed up on.
Okay, also, there were several meetings that you changed this year that conflicted with our meetings, which is really unfair because
That's him.
not.
Here, here.
Wait a second. Not only did we not have the mayor, who's our liaison to the township committee, but then we didn't have Marissa, who's on your board. You know, the third Monday of every month is our meeting. Please try to schedule your meetings when you reschedule them at a different time, not conflicting with ours.
Less meeting.
There were like 4 meetings in a row that we didn't get any information
In the end of
from
the
the
year.
planning board, from our mayor, from our liaison, nothing, because you made your meeting the same time as ours.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're trying to balance whether we had the big redevelopment plan at Church Mall that we were trying to conflict, we were trying to get within time to make it work. And then when we had on the other side, some of the other applications that we had were the confliction with other applicants that could make the meetings. And since they're virtual, they're a little bit more, but we'll be more cognizant to know that they're on Monday nights. The good Monday's the third Mondays. The good
Third
news-
Mondays of every month, same time, once a month, you know.
The good news is the plan, we don't, right now. I'm looking at the dates right now. June 30th, January 30th.
We feel like the ugly stepchild, like, you know.
That shouldn't be. And if it helps, you know, 15 minutes every 6 months to come, you guys can come. We're here to work together in partnership to make the township better. It's not just, so if that helps and there's a confliction, just go to Marissa and say, can we get on for 15 minutes?
Well, yeah, I don't even know. She, all of a sudden, she's like, I have a planning board meeting, can't come tonight. There's no notice, just, oh,
And they're always 6:32?
yeah, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. We meet at 7.
That's what they're gonna be next year, so.
I reclaim my time. Now I'm ready to just lay into the chairman. Your scheduling was awful this year, and that is not a joke.
Well, the issue is we have to balance the applicants and things that have to go, and the township committee when they have ordinances that need to be reviewed, and they come over to us. So there's that too.
That you have put. Oh my goodness, Chairman, we will talk offline
We have
again about
ordinances that
this.
you send over to us that have to be reviewed. All right.
It's going to get even more difficult now that we're back in person.
Yeah,
and
person's-
in the courtroom.
Yeah, it's true.
There are going to be fewer dates that are available.
That's right.
It's true.
Anything else out?
I'm just checking if anybody else.
Sure.
This is Betsy, at the team. Do you have something to add or ask?
No, I have a question.
Should be here on time.
Yes, sorry. Betsy Blondet. What about pervious surfaces for residential zone? Is any ratio or something? Because I noticed many houses are putting concrete, like covering the backyard with concrete, the side of the house with concrete. It's too much.
Every zone has a percentage. These anywhere from 22. We lowered it by
22.5% in the S120 to the.
Yeah, because
27.5.
I think they're getting away because they're putting fences and nobody sees.
Well, the fences are very small.
No, the
6 foot.
6-foot fences.
yes.
But when the fences, that doesn't come to us. That's more of a.
no, but that's what I mean. They put first the fence and then start covering with concrete everywhere.
Like, we can't see, we don't see everything, and our
Yes.
inspectors don't see everything. I mean, he can't be everywhere in the whole town. He goes-
No, but what we can do for them?
Just look, call up and call the administrator, call,
Yeah,
Mike.
Mr.
the
Disco?
code enforcement guy does go out, and every
I know.
time he gets a phone call,
Yes,
he
he does.
reacts to
I
it.
know because he went right away when they were removing the roots of a tree that it was gonna fall on somebody's house. He was there
All you gotta
right
do is
away.
call up, Mike's office.
Okay.
Having said that, there are people that do things illicitly, but generally, there's nobody that never comes to a board. They always come eventually to a zoning application or to the building department, and we catch them. Sometimes it takes 2 years, but we do catch up with it, so. But everybody's the eyes and ears of the town, so it's very valuable.
Let's call Jen. Jen doesn't do anything all day. Sure.
Jen's too busy with rescheduling meetings.
She is. She is.
We would like to just say thank you, though,
No.
for all of the improvements over the past couple of years since we've had a dialogue
Yeah.
that you guys have implemented. It is appreciated by the town, Mother Earth, green spaces,
Thank you.
Thank you, and you could feel free, work with Marissa to have, if we want to do something in May or June, and at the end of the year twice for 15 minutes, something come before us that we're missing or something.
And we would like to remind all of you, if you have questions regarding environmental impacts or any environmental issues, we have an attorney So just use us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Chairman, one of the things they brought up, for the last couple of years was green roofs. We actually, on every application, now, it wasn't really a busy year in terms of development in Springfield, but we asked every applicant whether we can get to a green roof situation. And unfortunately, a lot of that is you just have to have the height of the structure and the cost in it to make it viable right now. I mean, that may change over time.
Why don't we look, in the next 2 redevelopment applications, maybe we could try to include
Yeah.
something in that. It could be
Well,
part of the pilot
it's been discussed, but again, when you're talking 2.5 to 3 stories, you almost got to get to 4 stories before. That's what the architects are telling me. They could be, but we're getting there. I think we're going to get to the point where we're going to see green roofs, and as the technology and the repetition of it makes it more normal.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, any other members of the public wish to speak on any business before the planning board?
No, but I will take a second since.
Seeing none, oh, go ahead. Well, we would just go back. Yeah. Seeing none, I'll close it to the public and remand it back to the board.
Just want to say that first of all, I kid the chairman many times, but since I unfortunately missed the last meeting before Thanksgiving, and have thanked every board, I do want to thank everybody up here for their time, and especially our professionals, Mike and Jen. It has been a pleasure to work with you this year, as my time on planning board may be coming to an end. We will see. But I do want to thank all the volunteers who dedicate many hours to this and give us thoughtful consideration and really do help move many of the projects of redevelopment forward. So thank you, especially you, Chairman, Vice Chairwoman, who's not here tonight, but everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the only thing I want to add is, so our next meeting is January 4th, but I want to add is, we're back in person. If people are sick, please reach out, don't come. There's no reason I want anyone to feel, if you're really sick, like there was a member tonight that wasn't feeling well, don't come. There's no reason that you need to be here. If we have a quorum issue or something, we should discuss it. Feel free to let Ms. Law or myself know if you're not feeling well. There's no hard feelings if you can't make it. What? I don't look good. Why? I should have stayed home. All right, well, so at this point, we're going to close this meeting. We have a motion to adjourn in a second. Our next meeting is January 4th, 2023, in this very room at 6:30 p.m. For our reorganization meeting. And then in May, we will have 2 meetings in the month.
We don't even know when we're having a reorganization.
I already cleared it. with you. Our reorg,
I can speak to that. Our reorg would have to be before theirs. So ours will be between that Sunday and that Tuesday, I guarantee you. And if it's at the discretion of this year's mayor, he will be making it that Tuesday, but I will not be the sole decider unless I'm re-upped. So we will see. But it will be done before their meeting.
We hope.
Perfect. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.